Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the night team. Folks, I got a lot of messages about covering the finals of the WNBA. So here we go. We're going to talk about game 2. But first, if you get a moment, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. A lot of people in the WNBA have blocked me over on Twitter. I don't think my videos are getting shown as much because the certain people don't want them to be. I guess maybe I'm a little too critical of things that have been going on in the WNBA. I don't think that's going to stop right now. So likes and subscribes really help. I really do appreciate it. But let's talk about this game. So where to begin? Okay, this was not good basketball. This is the WNBA reverting to what it's always been, unfortunately. Physical, lacking skill, lots of missed layups, air balls, all that sort of thing. And I know a lot of people were thrilled with game 1. They thought it was very exciting basketball, and that's cool if you did. And we get caught up in games like that because there was such a big lead for the Liberty. The Lynx came back. It went to OT, so it had a lot of excitement. It had a lot of drama. It was a close game. And I'm thinking to my time as coach, both in my games and watching other youth games growing up and playing them, they can be very exciting and dramatic as well, with crazy endings and walk-offs in baseball and buzzer beaters in basketball. Hey, I coached a couple soccer games that had walk-off goals. Talk about exciting and talk about dramatic. Still, it's not professional level in terms of this is what I'm going to tune into on my TV or on my streaming service and watch all the time because it's fantastic. This game itself, great example. Second half of this game was 31-27. 31-27 and a half. Professional basketball. 6 of the 8 quarters had fewer than 20 points, and one of the other 2 only had 21 points. Look, I found during commercial breaks, I was watching my Eagles play. As any of you know, in watching sports nowadays, the commercial breaks seem to expand and expand and expand. So, hey, I flipped around. I found out Texas was playing Kentucky. I believe it was ESPN2 in women's college volleyball. And I got to tell you, even though if you asked me to choose a sport to play or watch, I would pick basketball without thinking about it. Hands down, that women's college volleyball, far more entertaining than game 2 of the WNBA finals. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't point out, if I can now find the right one, that the officiating, and I know there were other really bad calls as well, but I'm just going to point out this one that I thought was really bad because it's also the one I could find the clip of. But this is a foul called on Nafisa Collier, the unrecognized MVP of the WNBA in 2024, and yet Brianna Stewart pushes her off, and then Collier gets called for a foul for running into, I believe it's Sabrina Ionescu, who is setting the pick.
Wants to challenge it. She is imploring
push off, she slides,
her
and they
bench
call
to
that
give her
foul on
intel,
Collier, and
and
I
her
don't
bench says no.
understand it. And I'm not even saying to necessarily call this on Brianna Stewart.
Oh, do not challenge that.
Then
you
this
can
is just
understand
a
the
collision
Nafisa's
that
argument.
happens. You
She's
can't
got
call
Brianna
this
Stewart's shoulder
on
going.
Collier. I don't understand the foul called there at all, but that is just, and there was stuff that was more egregious. Like I said, I couldn't find clips, but that is, I mean, you had Brianna Stewart, supposedly one of the best players in the league, right? Most likely all WNBA, 2023 league MVP. We already know she missed a relatively easy layup at the end of the game in game 1 that never even hit the rim, folks. Never even hit the rim. And then we have, I love how the WNBA describes this. Stewie follows her shot and gets the putback to go. Okay, she misses a layup badly. Her teammate knocks the ball back to her, and then she scores. But again, this is the type of stuff that we're seeing way too much of. I mean, that's an easy layup, folks, and that is not even close. Congratulations for that ball coming right back to her. Was that? I couldn't see. I wasn't paying attention to who tipped that, but that was her teammate who tipped that. But this is not a good layup here. I'm just getting it back to where Stewart is. I won't make it choppy. I just wanted to slow it down just a little bit as you watch. I mean, this is a clean look at the basket. This is an easy layup. And she just, I don't know, chucks it up there, shovels it up there. Uh, yeah. And again, not the only one. Now they get a basket, right? And they celebrate Jonquel Jones finishes in the lane for 2. So you think, okay, she's going to get the ball in there. She's going to make a nice play. But no, what we're going to see is that is a terrible, terrible, terrible attempt at a layup. We're going to back this up one more time, and we're gonna run this through at half speed. Like that has no chance whatsoever of going in. That's awkward. I believe on both layups she actually went off the wrong foot, which I know at times you are forced to. I get that, but not in these cases. That is just awkward. And for those that, oh well, it's easy to just pick certain plays. Yeah, I get that. But again, these are really badly missed layups, had a really bad miss at the end of the first game. And the problem is, this is not going and finding the bad plays in the WNBA. This is common for the WNBA. This is what the WNBA consists of far too often is a lack of skill in the game itself, which is why it's not entertaining. And this goes back to what Caitlin Clark brought to the game and why Caitlin Clark garnered the fan base that she has garnered. And that is, it's something different that hasn't been part of the game before. Sure, logo threes absolutely attracted so much attention with good reason. No one was doing it. She shoots on average from further than the players in the NBA. It's exciting. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. Every time she has the ball across half court, you kind of hold your breath a little bit because you're like, oh, she could pull the trigger right now from where she is, from anywhere, and it could go in. But look, people also stayed and learned to appreciate her overall game, which again, from a skill set and basketball IQ perspective, much, much higher than what we've ever seen in the WNBA. The basketball IQ is incredible. The passing is absolutely astounding, all levels of it. And I'm going to do a separate video on that actually to break down some of her passing. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. The work she does off the dribble in getting to the basket herself, but also keeping her dribble alive when she gets underneath, when she gets under the basket and doesn't have a shot. She just doesn't stop dribbling and then get double or triple teamed along the baseline. Head up, keeps dribbling, looks for teammates, got her head on a swivel, makes great passes to get teammates open. She gets to the basket on her own. She dishes out assists. The way Caitlin Clark plays makes everyone around her look better, and that makes the product itself better to the fans watching. And that is how you grow the game. You need to focus on the ability of the players and expanding that. And the WNBA itself still doesn't have enough of that. They've got some players that can play. They've got some players that are enjoyable to watch, but even a lot of their so-called top players are not enjoyable to watch. But instead of trying to improve the product and focus on that and development and all these things, just like you see with soccer in general, as we try and compete with the rest of the world on the men's side and try and stay up near the top on the women's side. But no. Instead, the WNBA wants to browbeat us and call us names and guilt us and gaslight you into thinking it's an amazing product and you were just too much of an ist to pay attention to it all these years. And that is why it's so annoying to me and others. That is why I get on rants like this and get very critical of what I'm seeing. Because look, in all sports, athletes are human. They all make mistakes. They all have bad games. I get it. But this is overall the product, and it's from a league that thinks I owe them my viewership. I owe them my fandom. I owe them my time. And that simply isn't true. And that's what also turns people off. You don't hear athletes in all these other sports that are basically toiling in anonymity whining about how they deserve more fans. They're entitled to your fandom, and you are just a terrible person if you don't watch. Do we really need to talk about the 3-year-old Nike commercial making the rounds again? Maybe we'll do a breakdown of that in a video, but where it's completely about how it's very anti-male. That's what it is. It's not pro-woman. It's anti-male. It's about the U.S. women's Olympic basketball team talking about being better than everything, better than Alexander the Great. Oh, man. Tell me you're the most ignorant person on the planet without telling me you're the most ignorant person on the planet. And how the women's U.S. team makes the men in multiple sports, by the way, look like amateurs. Yes, I'm not going to play a lot of it because I don't even know if I can, but I just want to play this short clip where it says right in the middle of it, it says, I don't know if you could read that. It says women with the jump shot. And then it goes to say, see, there are women with the jump shot, a dynasty that makes your favorite men's basketball, football, and baseball teams look like amateurs. Really? Really? The U.S. women's basketball team makes the men's team look like amateurs. By the way, women don't shoot a jump shot, no offense. But see, and this is what I mean. It's okay that they don't. There are physical differences, even though we're not really allowed to talk about them nowadays. But don't sit there and tell me they do. That's the problem. I love watching Caitlin Clark shoot. Phenomenal form. She makes it look so easy when she's shooting her three, but it's not technically what we would call a jump shot. And that's fine. That's what you don't understand. That's fine. But hey, there's an idea. Since they make the men look like amateurs, Nike, how about they play? And we want to make sure the men really try. So here's my deal. Here's my deal for the swoosh. Buy up all your company stock, which is around 123 billion or so. Now have the men and women play. If the women win, you keep your stock, so you keep your company, and you can sell it back out to shareholders. Now, if the men win, you divvy that up among the 12 players. So the men would get about 10 billion in stock of Nike for winning this game. That should ensure that they try. And then now they own Nike, of course. Nike will be owned by 12 NBA basketball players. What do you think? Sound like a good deal? Oh, look, man, I'm not trying to be mean. Like I said, I'm a huge supporter of women's sports myself, but stuff like this, I'm making the point that this Nike ad turns off far more people than it brings in. Most likely the ones that like it already watched the WNBA, but the WNBA needs new fans, right? You should be targeting new fans with ads like this that are up that are positive ads. This isn't you might people might watch this. Maybe Nike thought, oh, this is uplifting. It's not uplifting. It's not positive. It's putting everyone else down to make you look good and yet it's also delusional. And there are probably a lot of people that like the WNBA and support it and didn't like this ad. They were turned off about it. I mean, what about the men toiling in obscurity in leagues like, I don't know, the PLL? Oh, what's that, you ask? The Professional Lacrosse League? Or how about the fact that the men in MLS get paid far less than the men in the EPL, right? That's our Major League Soccer in America, English Premier League, or La Liga, or Bundesliga, or Serie A, all the big leagues in Europe. Well, they have much bigger fan bases. They have much larger amounts of money to play with. They generate more money. And so you're talking about men in the same sport, and the pay is unequal. Hate to break it to you, WNBA, but it is not sexism that's the problem. It's not a woman thing. I know plenty of people like me that support women's sports, lots of women's sports, but we just don't enjoy the WNBA outside of what Caitlin Clark brings to a team where she makes everyone better. And it's exciting to watch the Indiana Fever. Look, I love the Women's College World Series, which is softball for those of you who don't know. Really, it is. I tune in every year when that gets going. Tennis, great. Golf, gymnastics, track, volleyball, and not just beach, but regular too. Even as I mentioned earlier, even high level college volleyball. I think Texas and Kentucky were both ranked in the top 15 in that match I watched. It's not about the women, it's about the product, and your basketball just isn't there yet. So take a breath, stop insulting people or guilting people into watching as if they owe you something, and work on growing the game. Look, there wasn't anything about this game, too, that was entertaining. Nothing about it that had me as a basketball fan who would be thrilled if you grew the league and turned a profit the right way. You elevated the product of your game to have the demand that you could grow the league and players could make more money and you're turning a profit. Fantastic. Love it. But there was nothing about this that has me wanting to tune in for game 3. And that's what you need to fix. Work on growing the league the right way. Work on putting out a good product. Change the tone in your approach to the fans and potential fans. And look, it may take another decade to get where you really want to get because, you have girls now, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, modeling their game off of Caitlin Clark. They're growing up, watching, and trying to play like Caitlin Clark. And then when they enter the league, everything changes. And look, you have some coming soon, right? There's a lot of talk about Paige and a lot of talk about Juju. And so it's there. It's there to where the way the game is going to be played can change enough that people are like, yeah, I want to watch the WNBA. I want to watch other teams play besides my team. But I'm going to leave it there. I know I'm sorry about giving you this screen like this. If I was able, I threw in some clips just to have a moving screen on some of this. I know I got talking a little more than I thought, but I appreciate you checking this out. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you later.